So, two of your kind of your key guys, at least this spring, is as far as the receivers, Anderson and Brown, not out there today.
Yep. Yep. Stevens, he'll be back. I would think they'd both be back Friday. Eric had a little bit of a sickness, and Steven, I think, will be ready to go by Friday. So no big deal on either one of them.
There's been a lot of, you guys talk about how the O-line is tougher this year. They don't take crap.
Yep.
Where does that come from? How does that kind of happen?
Well, I think, that remains to be seen, first of all. I think we've improved, certainly. I think that, we're doing a lot of little things a lot better. And I think like anything, I think your group takes on the personality of your coach. And so I think that group has got Brandon's personality. I mean, he's kind of a no-nonsense, grinder who, work those guys hard and make them really accountable. And I think they've responded really well to him. And so I just think that the group is much improved. We have some guys that are, unproven a little bit that we're going to need to play for us. But I think they're playing well now, and we anticipate them playing well in the fall. And we think by the time September rolls around, they're going to be ready to play.
Brandon was a little disappointed in their performance yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago. Yeah. How do you think they bounced back, the offensive line?
Yeah, I thought it was okay today. Gave up a sack in the team period one time. Devontae Wilson got in there and got a sack, but my first thoughts walking off the field were it was pretty good. We'll go back, look at the tape a little bit more closely and be able to tell. But, they're just playing. They're playing physical. They're playing well together. They're, little things that people don't notice when they're getting lined up much quicker. They're, much less penalties. Just, seem to be playing with a lot more discipline.
Just tougher necessarily mean better? Can those two?
Well, I think that's that's what you want from O-linemen. I mean, I think that's, for us. Our guys have been athletic enough. We've just needed them to be tough and physical, and and to play tough and to play physical and to play strong. And as the group has developed, I mean, we were playing with a lot of young guys for a long time. I mean, this group, when you look at it and you talk about Chris Brio and Stephen Moore and Rigsby, those guys have been fixtures for 3 years. And so, going into their third year in this offense, I mean, you expect them to be good players. And they've got a lot of reps, and Matt Cochran, and has been a pretty good player as well. So all those are guys that you would expect them to be better going into the third year.
Jared had a few passes today that looked as good as anything he had last year.
I thought he had a good day. Yeah, I think it just seems like things have slowed down for him. Last two practices in particular. It's fun to sit back there and watch him. He's throwing the ball pretty good right now and starting to develop a lot of confidence and a good sense of timing with those receivers. And right now, I mean, it's those guys are tough to cover when he's putting the ball where he's putting it, and the ball's coming out on time. Like I said, last couple of practices, he's looked pretty darn good.
Talking to Art yesterday, he said that the corners have really kind of started to take the next step, but he said the safeties are really a work in progress. Can you kind of assess where
I would agree with that. I mean, I think certainly Darius White, has been, last 4 or 5 practices coming back from spring break, he's been really good. I mean, he's competing much harder, playing with a lot more confidence. Darius Allensworth is playing better, Cedric's playing better. Deshaun Grace is playing better. So I think right now, we feel pretty good about 4 corners. The safeties situation is a little bit of a mess. We just don't have a lot of guys right now, and Luke's, done some good things. It's hard to tell a little bit just because he's been in the red most of the spring, and we're just trying to keep him healthy, and so it's been a little bit hard to tell from him, and Deron Brown's learning, and so we've got so many guys that are injured and coming off of injuries that I think the group in the fall will look much different than it does right now. I think we'll have a lot more depth, and we start getting some of these guys back. But again, we've just been really depleted with some injuries, and we've had a strange situation at safety, for going on 3 years now, and so. We think we'll get everybody back healthy. We think that, again, with the freshmen we have coming in, when we start getting Pyatt back and Tartable back and McClure back, those are all guys that have played a lot of football, and so we think that group will stabilize. The good thing about it is when they're not out there in the spring, other guys have gotten more reps and had their opportunities to improve, and it's been good for them.
Is there a chance you guys would let Luke play the position out here without the red jersey, or would that not make much sense?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll kind of see, probably assess where he's at. Maybe in the spring game, let him get some live reps and go play. So I don't know. We'll see. The injury's not bad enough. We just don't want to take a big setback.
You have a lot of guys that seem like they've been doing a lot of conditioning work and are getting closer maybe to getting healthy. And do you expect anyone to come back kind of towards the end of spring, or is it who's out there is out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Jefferson will get more and more reps.
Yeah.
You know, as he's continued to kind of work in there more, I think, you know, you'll see more from him Friday and especially next week. You know, Moose, we're not going to do much with Moose. Kind of keep him on the same plan that we're on right now. I think who else might get some additional reps. I think for the most part, it's going to be the guys that are out there.
Can you kind of assess the progress in the secondary in the spring?
Yeah, you know, I think I've been happy with what I've seen with the corners. You know, I think the corners are much improved. You know, we were saying earlier that the depth at safety is not what we want. You know, we just got a lot of guys that aren't participating right now, and it's been good. You know, Deron Brown's gotten 1 million reps, and you know, I think it's helped him improve. But he's learning a whole new system and doing some new things, and you know, you expect that transition to be a little slow. You know, and Luke same way, and you know, those guys have both improved, and I think both show signs of being pretty good players at those positions. But you know, we just got to continue to build depth. You know, Gardner's done some good things to safety. I mean, he keeps showing up. I mean, he's a hard worker. He's you know, he does some good things. He's just got to keep improving and you know, just developing as an athlete, as a player. And but you know, we got to get all those healthy bodies back, and then we got to get some of the young guys to come in and you know, we'll take a look at that position and see where we go from there.
Is it fair to say that group in particular is, you know, one of the more important ones for you guys to take the next
definitely.
step?
Yeah, I mean, for us to get where we want to go, we got to play better defense. It's got to be the defense as a whole, but particularly the secondary. I mean, we got to play at a higher level. And I think walking away from this, you know, we feel like we've got enough depth in our defensive front and linebacker. You know, we just got to get all the pieces put together in the secondary, and we think if we can get that done, then you know, we think our defense will take a huge step forward.
Is Garner somewhat limited by his size?
I mean, he's not your prototypical safety. He's just not that long. But what, you know, he makes up for it with hustle and you know, and knowing how to play the position, you know, and making good decisions. And so he's, you know, I mean, he's done a good job for us.
Seems like Vic, every single practice, he's doing something pretty impressive. Do you see maybe a breakout year for him from what you've seen this spring?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got to continue to improve, and you know, he's still a really young player, and but I think he's, you know, like a lot of these guys, he's more comfortable, and he's, you know, he's bigger, stronger, faster, and a year further along. And you know, this time last year he was in high school, and you know, and I think that he's taking advantage of these opportunities and the carries he's got, and just keeps getting better.